very last so-called vertical system is, I don't put it in the realm of a vertical growing system because it's still actually just hydroponics. And this system is by Rise Gardens, and they are anywhere from $300 for their base model up to $1,500. And their systems are basically considered a modular system. So they have several options, and their smallest version is called the Personal Rise Garden. And then there's the Rise Garden. And now they're coming out with, and you can get on their early list for the Rise Roma Garden, which is their largest model for large fruiting. So like if you're growing peppers or tomatoes that get really tall, you would look at possibly the Rise Roma. But we're going to talk about each of the different versions of their Rise Garden systems. And to be honest, I can't really pinpoint the size of the reservoir for the Personal, but it's about a 9-gallon tank for the Rise version. They actually come in trays, and then each of the trays has the ports. And in the Personal, that can be anywhere from 4 to 12 ports. The Rise, for every level, 12 to 36, anywhere from 36 to a total of 108 plants on the Rise garden system itself. And the Rise can come to 3 levels. So you can buy the different, again, it's a modular system, so you can get the different shelves basically and get up to 108 plants. So about 36 plants per shelf. And then of course there's the Roma option. So for this, it has net cups, and they go into those tray lids. And then the substrate for this is 100% organic biomass of a cocoa coir and peat moss mix. So it's more natural. They call it organic. For this one, it does have a water pump if you were to do the modular second and third tiers for the Rise option. Otherwise, it wouldn't need a pump. And then the lights come with the first tier, and then you'd also get them with the second and third tier for the Rise. The automation on this is, it has an app with smart notifications for you as far as plant information, nutrient dosage, and then it also has the ability to connect with Alexa. What comes with your original Rise Garden is the seed pods, and you get one plant type. And then there's a sprout and a blossom, and their nutrients are actually dry nutrients. And then there's a pH balancer, a starter plant variety pack if you choose that option. And then there's the pod trays that have the net cups. Also for this, they have their designated nursery. Now your optional accessories would be seedless pods, because this system, like the garden system and even like Lettuce Grow, prefer pre-seeded, started seedlings in their pods, and then you purchase those. But you can purchase seedless pods. Tiers are available for the Rise, so you can get a second and a third tier for the Rise system. And then there's not really a membership. For this one, the warranty is 1 year on electronic components. So your ongoing needs for this one are actually going to be their dry nutrients, and that's the sprout and a blossom. And just so you know, you don't use the 2 nutrients at the same time. In this system, you would start with the sprout in the early phases of growth, and then you would switch to blossom later. Now, that is something to think about, because you usually have plants in your system for a while, but sometimes you might take some of the ports out and you might start new ones. And that is challenging with having 2 different nutrients for different phases of plant life, because in my garden system, I have young plants in and I have older plants. And so I don't change up the nutrients. I don't even dilute the nutrients. They usually are fine with the nutrient levels at the stage that I put them in my tower garden. So that's something to think about. And finally, ongoing needs in addition to that would be the seed pods, and that is a variable cost. And then of course there's the seedless pod options as well. So the final one would be the pH balance. And this system also has it where you don't have to test the pH, you just add this pH balance. And I'm guessing the automation system also tells you when to add that and how to add that, but I'm not 100% sure. Honestly, I don't have a lot of pros for this system. And I think it's because there's more cons in the fact that it looks just like what you would expect if you were to start plants indoors and have an indoor growing garden from soil. You would have probably a tiered setup. So it looks just like that. And to me, if I want something like a hydroponic garden, I like the idea of having an aesthetically pleasing, inviting conversation piece in my home. This kind of has, I wouldn't say a huge footprint, but the footprint is a more rectangular footprint. It's going to be against your wall. It's not like it's a 360 attractive, appealing thing. So the con is all about looks for me. It does the job. And I guess the other con would be the fact that you can't lower the lights to early young seedlings and things like that. So that's the Rise Gardens. And next we're going to be talking the Air Gardens. So now that we've talked about all of the larger on the floor versions of growing indoors hydroponically, we're going to be talking about the smaller tabletop versions of indoor hydroponic gardening. Stick around, share my videos, because people out there are wanting to know about these different systems, and there is more and more and more and more interest on growing indoors. So share my content, let people know that what these different systems are. I'd love to help people start growing indoors all year long.